Is Rapudo a cool kid?
Not really. It's actually the exact opposite. Me number one, grow Shago, bro. Grew up with my grandmother in the Shago because my parents are divorced. I got my first daughter when I was, I think, in second year University of Nairobi. Ile time a long recess.
Yes.
I go to Oshago and then I work with IEBC. And then I meet a girl there. And then we do a few things here and there. And then she's pregnant.
Are you ever scared of losing mama?
No. Confidence, bro. Let me tell you, there are people who've always wished us. Like now, whatever was happening with Ambare a few days ago, people wish her very many bad things, like karma or whatever, nini, blah, blah, you know. Even me, they're like, oh, one day utawachwa, mtaachana, nini, blah, blah. But I want to tell them, kuachana is not anything that worries me.
Amazing times. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever you're watching from. Welcome to Kenya's fastest growing podcast. Actually, Africa's fastest growing podcast. This is Lessons at 30. My name is the one and only, the Eagle himself. The Duke of Kakamega, Dr. Ofweneke is my name. And a big shout out and asanteni sana in Swahili to each and every single good people who have been subscribing, who have been commenting, who have been joining the Lessons at 30 community. Manze, you guys, this show is nothing without you. I just want to say on behalf of my team at 91 Degrees and of course Pro Studios, I just want to say thank you so much. Asanteni sana. The family keeps on growing and growing. The lessons are spreading wide. And a big attention, of course, to all the blog sites who I don't have to pay. I don't have to tag them. I don't have to send them. They come and get snippets of Lessons at 30 and they take them around. The ones who've been sending the clips around even on WhatsApp status. The people who text me personally, call me, meet me on the streets and they tell me, Ofweneke, there's something great that you're doing with the Lessons at 30. I want to say from the deepest part of my heart, I'm just grateful. I am indebted to you. And I hope that every single lesson and every guest that comes on the show, there's a lesson that we're getting. There's a life that is being changed and there's a soul that is being transformed. We're doing all matters fatherhood, matters motherhood, matters marriage, relationship, career choice, growing up, wealth, poverty, spirituality, religious, all these things. We're handling them on Lessons at 30. A big shout, of course, to Maybets, the only most trustable and most transparent and the most quick rewarding betting platform, that is Maybets.com. And of course, make sure you get some good clothes for yourself. We're heading towards Valentine's and you gotta make sure that your man is looking good. Get him some nice pair of shoes, some nice shirts, some nice pants and trousers and everything. Go to Adira Collections. They're waiting to serve you and get you the best of all male wear. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to talk too much. The gentleman that is on the show tonight, our guest lecturer on Lessons at 30, a man that I've grown to respect, a man who's always so calm even in the middle of a storm. And no matter what you guys say, whatever you guys tweet, talk, trend about him, the man will always maintain the most calmest of an attitude. An entrepreneur, a father, a man you know very well, and of course, the husband too, the one and only Ambare. Ladies and gentlemen, let's appreciate welcome to the show, the one and only Rapudo. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you so much, Baba.
Sitaki nikugonge mkono ingine ndio uko injuries, uko fracture.
Manze.
Hey, how are you feeling? Are you okay?
I'm getting better. It's a fracture, but I'm getting better.
Welcome to the show and thank you so much. I must admit, I was not very sure if you're going to accept. Because from word on the streets is that you really try to stay off interviews. And if you do, you make sure kona mama, then you never say anything. So mama says everything.
You are one guy that I've grown to admire and respect so much.
Thank you, sir.
So even last time when you called my wife for an interview on the other side, she came.
And I appreciate
when you reached out, you told me that you want to interview me and you want us to have a conversation. I obliged.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Rapudo, is Rapudo a cool kid?
Not really.
Because you always carry yourself so, a gentleman, well polished and everything. And I say, msana kanikame grow ya Karen, Rapudo umetoka wapi?
It's actually the exact opposite. Me number one, nimegrow Shago, bro. Grew up with my grandmother in the Shago, all the way up to I think around class
Ushago
4.
wapi?
Shago in somewhere called Migori County,
Migori.
Uriri constituency, place called Nyamelo. Very very humble interior place. So I grew up with my grandmother.
Just the two of you.
It was me, my brother, and my sister.
Your parents were not there.
My parents, my mom was working. She was working in Kisumu because my parents are divorced. So my mom was in a different part of the country altogether. Wale wenye walikuwa nakuja home time of Christmas. Bas, mnapika chapati nini. So me, I completely grew up in Oshago. Yeah, up to where I am, I've learned to work hard. I know what poverty is. At the same time, I know what wealth is. So I've been in both worlds.
Sides.
Exactly.
Before we get there, you have just brought in a very interesting aspect.
Okay.
Did at any point probably the separation or the divorce of your parents?
Yes.
Did it affect your upbringing at any point?
Definitely did. Especially if you're a boy, you look up to your father so much. When you're in school and then parents have to come and you don't see your dad, you see other kids with their dads, it really, really messes up with their psychology. Yes. So yes, it did affect me until up to some time when I was now in the upper primary class 6, class 7. I had to talk to my mom, ask her, hey, I need to meet my dad. I've never seen him. I need to meet him.
So from day one of your birth until class 7, you had never met your dad?
I'd met my dad up to until I was in class, until I was 6, because the separation happened when I was 6 years old. And then I grew without him. So it really affected me so much. When I was in class 6, class 7, I kept on pressurizing my mom, hey, I need to know who my dad is. So until my mom had to travel all the way to Mombasa, try to look for him, hakumpata. Kanambia, I've gone to look for him, sijampata, what do I do? Then that's when I accepted that he's not there. But we later on met now when I was in high school. Yes.
How was the feeling? How was the feeling of meeting him for the first time?
There was, to be honest, I felt betrayed. Because this guy was alive all those years. If he wanted to look for me, he could have looked for me. But he never did. So when I met him, when I was now in Form 2, already my mom had passed on. So even me meeting him, it didn't change anything in me. I was like, this guy, you've been my dad all along. You knew I existed. How come you never looked for me? But that's one thing that I learned. I said, I will always try to be present in the lives of my children. No matter what happens, whether we're separated or not, I always want to be a present father. Because I know what an absent father really means in the lives of the children.
Did they feel any kind of guilt or any remorse?
Of course he did. He tried to apologize, but you see, it was what it was then.
Have you forgiven him?
Unfortunately, he passed on before I forgave him. So we never got to make that peace. Yeah. We met briefly for like a few days. We had a conversation. I went back to school because I was schooling in a school called St. Pius in Migori County. And then there were no phone calls. So he passed on. I didn't have a phone, so they could not let me know. Until now, after we had closed school, that's when I knew that he had actually passed on.
So you never even go to attend the funeral, of course?
I never attended the funeral, but later on I managed to visit the grave. Yeah.
At what point do you feel like you let him go? Where like, you know what, I need to forgive this guy, even if he's gone post, but I need to let this go.
I think when I became a father, that's when I learned to let him go. Because I realized maybe you don't know what someone is fighting. So when I became a father and struggles of life, I realized maybe he was going through something that I was not able to understand. Maybe something that he was not able to explain to me. So there are things that I think a man just learns the moment you have your own children. So that's when I let it go. And I made peace with it. And that's it.
Did you cry?
When he died? No, I didn't cry.
And all this time, even the grieving, did you even go through the grieving process?
No.
Because for you felt like there was nothing to grieve about.
There's nothing to grieve about. There's nothing to grieve about.
How did you feel? Your siblings feel about it?
Yeah, but I'm someone who has learned to know how to cope up with pain. Because my mom died right before he died. I never accepted it for a long time. And then after some time, my dad died. And it was a different kind of death because it was suicide for him.
For your father.
Exactly. Because he was dealing with so much that he was not able to explain to me. But now, when my brother died, now years later, then I think that's when it caught up with me.
Because now I summed
Because
up.
now when he died, that's when, because I'm this guy who's sort of a G. Like things happen, I'm calm about it. It happens. I'm a man, be a man, nini. But for my brother, it was very, very difficult to be intact, and it really broke me. And that's when I opened up and accepted what had happened in the past. And it is what it is.
So let's say putting mama aside and the kids aside.
Yes.
Rapudo is just on his own.
Me, I'm just there, bro.
No sibling, no mom.
I have a sister. I have a big sister.
Oh, down with the sister.
Yes. So there's just a sister who's remaining. And my children are there. And my beautiful wife, Ambara, is also there. So that's it.
Oh.
Yes.
Did probably the separation between your parents, the divorce, did it later affect probably your view towards marriage or towards relationship, towards the whole family setup?
It made my view about marriage a bit different. And for the longest time, I was like, if this is what marriage is, I don't really have to get married. And I think it affected me somehow. But when you grow up, there are things that you end up learning and accepting. Yes.
So now you're done. So high school, umetoka St. Pius.
Yes.
Now umeingia Nairobi.
From St. Pius, now I was kicked out because I wasn't able to pay school fees. Remember, my mom died?
Oh, yes.
And she was the sole breadwinner. So I got kicked out of school because I wasn't able to pay school fees. For 2 years, I wasn't going to school.
For 2 years?
2 years.
You were out?
I was out. You know, Gambe, I know what struggling really is.
Raps, 2 years you're going to do? For this years, what were you doing?
I was working for one of my uncle who took advantage of my sales and marketing skills. He was selling pillows in a place called Kondele Market. So he was
you're selling pillows?
He didn't go to school, he's somebody. So he refused to completely take me to school. Instead, let me work for him for 2 years until I met someone who told me there's a school here in Kawangware, place called Settlement. Najua Seti?
Najua Seti?
Yes, akaniambia kuna shule hapo is a new school made of mabati. Bro, when it was hot, it was hot. When it's cold, it's cold. So I came there after 2 years. I joined Form 3. I had to beg them because I'd been out of school for quite a long time. So I begged them to admit me. They wanted to take me back to Form 2. And I told them, I'm already grown up. I don't want to keep on repeating classes. Just take me to Form 3. I'll do all that I can. I'll perform. And funny enough, I managed to get a B+.
Wow.
Yes.
So who was paying school? Amani savings a pillow.
He's a school. Because I was so good. So they told me, you are very disciplined. You work very hard. Do what about school fees? You just work hard.
Cs are happy.
Sorry?
At this time, why Cs?
My
big sister,
sis. Yeah, I met her. 2 months ago, we went to meet her with Ambare. She lives in Ugis.
So you separated?
With my sister. Yes, we had to, I had to go and look for greener pastures. By then, she was a kid. She could not help me. She was living with the grandma at home.
When was the last time I've seen her before these 2 months?
My sister. We communicate on phone as much as possible.
Wow.
Yes. So she's the only surviving member from the maternal side. Paternal sides, there's so many relatives, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yes.
It's Africa. I don't know why exactly. I thought I was the only one. So that side, I don't know why everybody has to fight with that other side.
Yes.
I never understood what the problem was.
Exactly.
So now you from 2, and from Seti you clear this whole time, because I'm pretty sure, just like any other boy born from a humble background, they're very weird, big dreams.
Yes.
Sai Rapudo anataka nini?
I just want to be a businessman. I just want to be happy. That's it. Nothing more. I've gone through all the phases of life. I've been poor. I've made money. Everything. I'm okay. There's nothing more I expect. As long as I'm happy, my family is happy.
But
my
your time, I'm going to dream a pilot.
Your time, funny enough, is that when I was growing up, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a doctor.
Dr. Rapudo.
Dr. Rapudo. I had very big dreams. I was very, very ambitious. But sometimes life doesn't give you what you want. Because after me, truth is, ever since I was in class 4, I've always been in position 1 all the way until my mom passed on. Because I know what hard work really is. You understand? And then when she passed on when I was in Form 2 and I lost 2 years, it was almost impossible. And then I went to some school in Satellite without library or a laboratory. And I was doing 3 sciences.
Chemistry, physics, and biology.
Exactly. And I still managed to get a B+ in physics.
With no Bunsen burner.
With nothing, no Bunsen burner. I had to cram. When you are studying chemistry, you had to cram potassium permanganate, nini, which color, nini.
Pit by pit.
Bas, yo.
White precipitate.
Exactly.
So you actually wrote an observation of white precipitate without seeing it. Oh my goodness.
So I think one of the things that prevented me from getting airplanes is because I had no knowledge about practicals, nini. But that is life.
So kutoka ukadu?
And then after that one, funny enough, I wanted to be a radio presenter. Funny enough, at some point. And then after that, I said, you know what? Anything that I'll be, let it be. Then after that, with a B+, I was able to get help and go to the University of Nairobi. Studied Bachelor of Arts, finished. Came back to University of Nairobi, did my first master's in project planning and management. Finished. I went back to USIU, studied international relations. Finished. Now I'm a businessman.
So it's important for guys to know that Rapudo is learning.
Aish. Watu wajuangi. Hapo nyo wanasema, oh, he's in wash. Bro, I've hustled. I've been in Nairobi for the last 16 years. If I was in wash, by now, so there'll be evidence.
Because you went to wash, bro.
Because they
And
don't know.
somebody almost believed.
Our meaning that they're like, this guy, how did he make it? But if they could go through my journey, where I'm coming from to where I'm right now, it's all hard work, bro.
So from there now, I know now the idea about family comes in.
Yes.
That you try marriage.
Yes.
The first time.
Yes.
Ikapungulu.
Well, it wasn't marriage as such. I think I was in I got my first daughter when I was, I think, in second year University of Nairobi. Ile time a long recess.
Yes.
I go to Oshago and then I work with IEBC. And then I meet a girl there. And then we do a few things here and there. And then she's pregnant. I didn't even know. I come back to the university. She calls me, she tells me that she's pregnant. Do you remove it? And then I had to think. I have to do think over and over again. And I told her, you know what? It's fine. Just keep it. So I was not actually married to her.
So there was no relationship, no marriage.
The moment she told me that I'm pregnant and is your child, I told her, you know what? I don't have a job, but keep it. We will raise it. And that is my first daughter, Savani. Right now, she's a 13-year-old girl.
And that has been the relationship of...
Yes. And if you ask me, that was my turning point.
What happened, sir?
Because the moment she tells me that she's pregnant, we are having a baby, I had to be a man. Immediately. I started looking for works here and there. And by some sheer good luck, I got some job with, because I was with Nokia. We were doing something called Design by Thinking, courtesy of University of Nairobi and Stanford University from the USA. So we did some work and we got paid very, very well. And then after that, I just had to become responsible. Quit alcohol, be more responsible, choose your friends wisely, know how to save.
Whoa.
Because the mother didn't have a job. She was living with her parents. I'm still a student at the University of Nairobi.
So you had to step up.
For her, it's embarrassing. You cannot live with your parents when you're pregnant.
True.
It's a shame. Go to Kisumu, I'll pay your rent. And if you ask me, it is the best decision that I've ever made to date. Because if I could have asked her to go on and abort it, Savani will never be here, alive.
Does she know the story?
Savani? She's watched a few interviews that I've done before. We don't talk about it that often, but she's a very cheeky girl, she knows.
At the back of my mind, she's like,
Savani is very intelligent. She's a girl who has taken after me. And whenever I look at her, I'm more afraid of her than anybody else.
She's a typical copy and paste of you.
Typical. Very sharp, very smart.
And the mom, how are you guys? How is your relationship between the two of you?
The perfect relationship I can ever hope for. She's very understanding, very mature. Whenever there's any issue, she doesn't call me anytime past 8. She respects my marriage. Because even now she's married.
Nice.
And we have a good relationship even with her husband.
Nice.
So for me, I wish most parents were like that. And we limit our conversations to our daughter only. Nothing above
You
that.
guys don't even see each other.
We meet once in a while. Like last time when my daughter, because I took my daughter back to Kisumu, she goes to international schools over there. So akifunga shule, I fly her to Nairobi. So sometimes the mom brings her over. We talk, and that's it.
Wow. I like the whole maturity aspect. My ex-girlfriend, I have been attacked a couple of times.
Yes, I've seen it on social media.
That we are too comfortable with this co-parenting.
I
I'm
know.
like, we don't have to be enemies
Yes.
as baby mama, we don't have to be enemies.
Totally agree with you. But now the mother of my second child is one that we've had issues with. I think you've seen it on social media.
Yes, I have seen.
Yeah, she never took this whole separation quite professionally. We've had issues, but at the end of the day, we went to the court and we resorted it because my main aim was to have access to my son. Once I got that, I'm now okay.
You're good.
Yes, even today is on Friday. Supposed to drive over and go and pick my son.
And there's no scuffle about that.
No, there's a court.
What did you learn in that fight? What was that one lesson you came out with from that fight?
I think one thing that, but by then I'd already learned too much. Because don't put your private affairs on public.
Okay.
And she wanted to make this very, very ugly. She went to the Telegram guy. I think you know him. I don't want to mention him by name. And she made sure that she assassinated my character as much as she wanted. But I learned not to respond. You know why? Because a child is involved. Internet never forgets.
Never.
This boy one day will grow up. Alafu aone mimi I nilitukana mamake. What do you think he will feel? So I learned, no matter what happens, mambo ya familia, keep it as private as you can. Even if the other party wants to get ugly and whatever it is, stay off, be silent. Because you might be annoyed, you might say something. But you must always protect your child at any cost. I've seen a lot of breaks up on social media, even of late. People say the ugly stuff about each other. Oh, alifanya hivi, oh, walimpiga, oh. It's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it.
Chana.
Lenga kabisa.
We don't see Rapudo with friends. Most of the time, you're always with mama.
Yes.
Do you have friends?
Because I'm very picky. I know what I want. Hey, I know what I want.
I thought you were a loner.
I actually have friends, but they're very few. I think I have only one best friend. And then the other friends that I have are like not more than 5. These are guys, if I'm in any trouble, I call them right now. They'll be in the next second. The next very minute, they'll be here. And even them, if they're in any form of trouble, I'll be there for them. So I'd rather keep that kind of a circle whereby we know we're helping each other. Rather than have a whole lot of people, na msaidiani. Kazi maybe ni kudiscuss wanawake, sijui nini. No. At my age, no. And I told you I had to be mature at a very young age.
Of course.
Because of my daughter. So through that, I've learned so much. What kind of friends to have and what friends not to have.
Guys have tried branding Rapudo that more like you're a handbag carrier for Ambare. That where Ambare is,
Yes.
Rapudo is there.
Yes.
Some have said Rapudo is insecure
Yes.
of
Ambare.
the wife.
Yes.
Out of all these ladies, after everything that was said about Ambare, from her past and everything about Jamal, Samia, her being a second wife and everything, why did you still end up there?
Because I know the woman. I met the woman. This is a woman that I'd known for a long time, not really in person, but I'd always watched her and I'd always admired her. But she had always been in relationships, so I didn't want to get in between. But when the right time came, I asked for her hand in marriage. I know about the ugly past, and I think it also came back. It came up, I think, sometime last week.
I saw that.
Yeah, and I gave my views quite clear yesterday on Instagram. What matters is that I know who Ambare is. With all the experiences that I have, I know what I want in life. Regarding branding, you've mentioned one thing you forgot to mention is that wanasomanga Ambare ameniweka.
Ilikuwa nakuja hiyo.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was coming to that. I am very smart.
I think most Kenyan men are not romantic. They're not used to someone loving their wife. Ukipenda bibi anasema, oh, you are too soft. Oh, you are a wannabe. Oh, umekwa.
Guys have actually said you're very soft.
And that's okay. I don't need to be tough. The world is already tough. What matters is, before I met Ambare.
What did you meet her?
When did I meet Ambare? 3 years ago. This, the 1st of April will be 3 years together. But before I met Ambare, there was a lot of drama concerning her, right?
Yes.
Mara Ambare amefanya hivi, mara hivi. She was always being trolled for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
Do you see that anymore?
I don't.
You don't. What matters is meet the right person. If you meet the right person, all these dramas stop. So people should be very, very picky on who you want to settle down with.
Because I know there's a time, because there was a story about Ambare being involved in witchcraft.
Yes.
And now they said, Rapudo amewekewa juju.
I'm a very prayerful person. And if I hope one day Ambare will talk about that issue. She has never mentioned that issue. But I really, really wish one day when she's comfortable enough, she can tell you really what happened.
This will be the safest
Ambare
place for her.
si mtu wa juju. I can tell you that 100%. Whatever happened is an incident which is very, very ugly. And it happened. And it painted her that way. But she has never been able to tell the truth. Including where that video came from.
But there's a certain truth to there's a certain truth around the story.
There is a certain truth. And it wasn't even for her. It was for somebody. And if that somebody went on and posted that photo. As far as I know, Ambare, me as Kennedy Rapudo, Ambare is very religious. Very, very religious.
So Rapudo is not under any spell.
Not. I don't even believe in any spell. Plus, if I knew that Ambare ni mtu wa waganga, do you think I'll be there? I'm not stupid.
But you wouldn't know getting it there. New juju.
I can still tell. People will always flop. They'll always make mistakes here and there. And you'll know, who is mtu wa Mungu, who ni mtu wa waganga, and I will leave immediately. There are things I can compromise, and there are those that I can never compromise.
On it.
Never. When it comes to my doctrine, I can't compromise on certain things.
So this whole issue about her with Jamal and Samir.
Amira.
Amira, yes.
It's okay.
Did it ever affect you?
No, it never affected
Or maybe
me.
even before you guys
was-
met, even
yes.
because the drama was before you actually came into the picture.
Yes.
It never changed your perception about how you viewed her.
No. One thing about me, if you are well educated and well exposed, you can always pick. You'll be picky, you know what to believe and what not to believe.
True, sir.
Before I even get to that story, you remember when Eric Omondi was having issues with Andrew Kibe?
Yes.
And then Eric went on and said that Andrew amewekwa USA na mama. People believed it, right?
Yes.
Later on, Erico came and said it was just a story.
I remember.
Yes. So sometimes there's a lot of things which happen and people tend to believe whatever they see. But if you're wise enough, you will know what to believe and what not to believe. When all these things was happening, I knew this lady is a good lady. She's just in some bad place and all these things is happening around her. But I don't think that is who she is. I'm not saying that Ambare is perfect. She's not perfect. In any way, she's imperfect. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So when all this happened over and over again, and the same thing that I asked you before, how comes whatever was happening is not happening right now?
You've gotten me there.
It's because of the company that you keep. Whatever happened during that time, I can't blame Amira, I can't blame Ambare. There was a man who was involved. If you're a man, you are entrusted to be a leader. You understand?
I hear you.
Whether you're a Muslim or not, you're allowed to marry 4 wives or 10 wives. If you're a man, you need to take that leadership role. If there's a problem in your house, you bring your house in order. The fact that all that happened, it means someone was not able to bring these two into order. And there's a person that I blame. They could have done it for their own reasons, maybe social media, clout, whatever it is. But Ambare is not that kind of a person. She was just in a bad company and which brought a very bad side of her. All she needed was a man who loves her for who she is and who understands her, for her to settle and be who she is at the moment.
I love the maturity and the calmness in what you're saying. So when you guys met, was it an instant spark?
It was. We had tried to meet before, but I'm a guy who respects marriages. Every time I try to hit on her, and then after some time she thinks someone else, and then I keep off. At some point now, when she wanna talk to me, I'm seeing someone, she keeps off. And then when the right opportunity came, when the Sierra Leonean guy, the Kababa,
Yes.
they had an issue, and then we started having a conversation. Immediately, there was a spark.
Did you pay for the first date?
Did I do what?
Did you pay for the first date?
Of course, men do that. It's a must.
Did you make the choice
Of the drink?
of the place you guys were meeting?
No, we actually met in my house.
Wow.
Yes. It was during that time of Corona. So there was always the lockdown, whole nini, unajua. And then she was with a friend of her. So they came over at my place. We had a drink, we had some food. And then after some time, she invited me over to her place. We went again, have some food.
An exchange program.
Exchange program. And after that, we started having a conversation here and there. And immediately, there was a spark.
At what point did you feel like I love this woman? Because at this point, it's just a spark.
I think one thing that really drove me to Ambare was the fact that she was very mature. She wasn't like, and I'm not saying all these girls are bad, but at some point she invited me over. She told me that, hey, we are going to have lunch with my friends. Do you mind joining? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I'm just from the gym. Let me head over to the house and then I'll join you guys. Met at this restaurant called Ashake. So when I went, she was with like 6 other girls. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm gonna 6 girls, her friends.
Ambare.
And I'm like, here and Taliba bill kama yote. But I wasn't worried. I had money. But when we're done eating, everybody split. And I'm like, what's going on? Mimi, the people that I've been meeting before, I always pay all the bills. Why are you guys splitting? And I'm like, there's something about this girl that is quite unique. And after that, when we started going out, sometimes when I made, because she was at her own place, I was at my own place. The fact that she was such a nurturing and caring woman. Sometimes she will cook food at her place and then send it over to me.
What?
And I said, this seems to be a very, very good woman. And it didn't take long. I think within a week, I took her to some fancy place at the cliff in Nakuru. And then that's when now it was on social media. Oh, Ambare is saying Kennedy Rapudo, Nini. That's it.
Were you ready for the whole public?
No. I wasn't ready.
Are you enjoying it?
No. I'm not enjoying it. But to a point, it reached to a point whereby I don't care anymore. You see people troll me, write stuff about me. Do I respond? I don't care anymore. Write whatever you want to write. I'm not here to validate myself. And it's for the same reason I've never told them which company I have. Why do you feel you're so entitled to know what I do in my private life? I don't owe anybody anything. The day I decide to run for a public position, or if whoever will come after Ruto, not saying he's a one-term president, but whoever will come after Ruto and decides to give me a state position, and I get vetted by the parliament, maybe by then I'll be able to open up all my businesses. But for now, I'm a private citizen. I'm not a content creator. I'm not a public figure. I'm just like you. Sure, you have so many private businesses, right?
Yes.
It's not in your place to announce to everybody what to do for a living.
No. What you see is what you get.
Exactly. I don't owe you anything. So don't be bothered about my life. In fact, if I know it hurts you, I'll keep on keeping it private even more. And that's how you deal with online trolls and social media bullies. Don't give in.
Before we get there, because you're typically running a very interesting family unit, blended family.
Yes.
How did you get to this?
I think I had a love for Ambare and the rest fit in. My daughter by then was living with a mother. My son was also living with a mother. And Ambare was living with a son. And then we all moved into the same house. So it was me, Ambare, and a son. And I told her, you know what? You seem to be a very good mother. Why don't we bring our children under the same roof? So you said the first person that you can bring is my daughter. She's in some school in Migori, which is not such a good school. Told her, I've always had the dreams of bringing her to Nairobi, so that I can give a proper, good life. But it was not easy for me to do it because I was alone. Raising a girl child isn't that easy.
It's not easy.
So now that Ambare was in my life, and then she agreed. We went home, met the mother, met the stepdad, and we had a conversation. And they agreed. So my daughter came in the picture. We got a British system school here in Nairobi, and everything was fine. Then he said, in as much as my son is still very young, but I want him to be visiting us once in a while. And that's when all hell broke loose. There was a lot of social media stuff. Oh, Rapudo, he's not paying this, he's not doing this, Nini. A lot of ugly stuff that went on. And when she was hell-bent on solving issues through Telegram, I decided to go to court. And eventually I was given the access that I so much wanted. The rest is history.
How is it being a stepfather?
To Gavin? Gavin is a boy who's very much well-behaved. The mother has really raised him very, very well. And we've never had any issues. We have a conversation man-to-man. When I see something's not right, or when you have a few challenges here and there, I tell her, you know what? Why don't you do a drive? So we do a drive even 3 hours, and then we have a conversation. Then I tell him how to deal with certain things, online bullies, what you do, kids at school bullying, what you do, and we have this conversation with him. And he's a very nice young man.
Does he call you dad?
No, he doesn't call me dad. Why? Because his dad is alive.
All right.
Yes. And once in a while they meet. So I will not force him to call me dad and your own dad is alive. Is the same thing. Does my daughter call his dad? Is a stepdad dad? No. The dad is alive. So we respect all these boundaries and everything is just perfectly fine.
I love. There's a lot of maturity. There's a lot of. You're proving me right of what I've always thought about you, sir. And I really appreciate the honesty.
Thank you.
You coming from a humble background, and I mean, there's always that desire in us, because I probably almost share the same kind of a story, to make it and make it really big. But we're now currently living in a society or community whereby, if you are too over successful at our age, man, there's gotta be something weird you do.
I know.
Man, there's just gotta be something. And man, kama kuna mtu mazee amewekwa tag ya wash ni Rapudo. Bro,
I'm
I'm
aware about that. Funny thing, if I was to get into, I know about wash. I'm very, very street smart. All these businesses that go on, I know them very well. If I was to get into wash, Daktari, today, it won't take me even a year before I amass more than 500 million Kenyan shillings. Because I know all the tricks. I have enough assets to use. I'm well educated. I've traveled. I'm well exposed. Well, why am I not doing it? I'm a family man. I have integrity. I don't want to take my family one day in Hemingway's to have lunch in Karen. Then I keep on watching my back. I don't want to keep on driving my car. Then I keep on looking at the rear side mirror. Who's following me? Is it the DCI? I don't want to live that kind of a life. I'd rather follow a straight path. And I know that I'm safe. Nothing to worry about or anything. Get my point?
I get you, sir.
I know all these things, but it's none of my business. I don't want to get involved in anything that involves crime. I have all the respect to people who are doing it. That is up to them. But I don't want to be part of it. Like I told you, I've been in Nairobi for 16 years.
10 years.
For the last 3 years, when I met Ambare, that's when people knew me very much. Do you think there'll be no story about me if I was in Wash by now? Because Wash, you need to be like, it's a web of activities. People are interconnected. There's a lawyer, there's someone here who anafanya hii, nini, blah, blah. If I was involved by now, my friend, my name will be everywhere.
Ukiingia utapepeleza.
Everywhere. But I'm not interested. You've never had my name mentioned anywhere. I've never been in any form of scandal whatsoever. I've lived a very straight life, and I'm okay with that.
And that's it for you.
I'm not interested in wash. If to pull it, I can pull it, yes. But I've never been interested. Never. I prefer building wealth the right way. It might take time, but eventually it comes.
Do you feel like this generation is too thirsty, over thirsty?
Yes. The generation is too thirsty. Completely thirsty. That's why young men are getting murdered left, right, and center because of a deal gone wrong. There are so many young people wananikwa kwa DCI day in, day out. Why? I even wish the people who are doing it, I wish you will do it like so silently without people knowing what you're doing. Maybe one day you'll get caught or whatever it is, But people are so thirsty to get rich. They will do anything to make money. My advice is just be good at one thing and pursue it. It might take time, but ikijipa, itajipa.
So just be good at one thing.
Be good at what you do. Everybody has a talent. Everyone has a talent. If you're good in business, figure out what are you good in. Do more research about it.
I hear you.
Yes. Nikama when you're in high school, so there are people who are good in, I don't know, religious CRE, others in home science, others in physics, nini. The same system which is being adopted in the USA. For us, you're being told to do everything. But for them, at a very young age, you know what you want to be. And that's what you pursue. You specialize in that area. So I wish my peers could do the same thing. Quick money, you might make quick money in wash. Yes? But, my friend, it will catch up with you one day.
The repercussions
will be there. And you'll never live a peaceful life. Because you are driving, if a car follows you for the next 5 minutes, you're worried, who's this person? Who wants to live that kind of a life? Bro, me, I want to go in a club like on a Saturday. And I'm free, I know no one is following me. I've never committed any crime, any fraud. And that is my happiness.
You have never been arrested?
Never. Never even stepped in prison even once. Even the first time I went to court was last year, and that was because of my baby mama. When we had the issue of the court.
The child settlement.
And now the fracture that happened. Apart from that, there's nothing else. You will never hear any scandal about me. I'm a well-known figure. If I was in a fraud or whatever, by now, ungechasikia Rapudo ameshikwa, ama Rapudo was involved in this, or they could have shared even the WhatsApp messages. So people will always talk. Just like I gave you the story of Eric Omondi and Andrew Kibe. People will say Rapudo is this. For those who want to believe it, they can believe it. But for those who are smart enough, they can add 1 + 1. And they'll know what makes sense and what doesn't make sense.
I think I saw around 3 days ago. And Mama was trying to explain about the whole second wife story and everything. And I just got interested. I was like, Raps is my boy. And I know there's a thing about Luya kisses and Luo and more than one wife.
Yes.
It's not really much of a surprise to us as...
I will not say yes, because maybe Ambare will watch this one. and it might put me in some problem. But go ahead, I get your point.
You get my point.
Yeah, I get your point.
If she was okay being a second wife,
yes,
would you? Is it a thing that probably has ever crossed your mind, or is it a conversation the two have ever had that, baby, hey, if one day I was to marry or bring your mate,
yes,
is it a conversation you guys have ever had?
No, we've never had that conversation. As far as I'm concerned, I think I'm okay having Ambare alone. She's more than enough. I cannot handle anything above past her. Like I told you, her situation was quite unfortunate. And sometimes I look at whatever happened in the past and I really, really feel bad for her. Like I said, you can be a very good person, but when you mingle with the wrong company, bro,
you become part of them.
Become part of it. She made some decisions which were not okay. Decisions which were based on lies about... You've seen them on social media.
Yeah, I saw them.
They're all true. Or someone who lied to her, I'm not married, or I'll divorce this person, or you are the only person. And when shit broke loose, at least I expected this person to defend her, to stand for her. He never did. And now Ambare iliharibika. When I was meeting Ambare, her name ilikuwa imeharibika. People knew her for the ugly reasons. Whenever she'll post any photo, ilikuwa ni matusi mpaka chini. But when I stepped in, and she got that peaceful environment, she's okay.
What do you think as a man without fear of sounding braggadocious?
Yes.
What do you think convictively you brought on the table as a man into Ambare's life?
I think number one, when you bring that leadership role, because a woman sometimes needs like something she can follow. Understand?
Important.
You
Yes.
give her the direction. This is a side that we will follow. And we had a conversation. I told her there's a lot of ugliness that goes on. You even remember how Ambere used to dress before? She doesn't dress like that anymore. So it's whoever comes in your life. What kind of a person is he? Some can come in your life and it's a curse, and the whole castle breaks down. But the people can come in your life and it's a blessing. All Ambere needed was direction. And I'm like, baby girl, this is where we'll follow. These are the do's. These are the don'ts.
Did she listen?
She listened. I'm not saying that Ambere is soft. She's very hard-headed. So some of these things, you talk to her pole. You know. That's it. It's a matter of conversation. Some of these women or even men that you say outside, they're not even bad. It's just the company that they have that exposes the ugly side. Because everybody, even you have your ugly side.
Yes.
Even me, I have my ugly side.
Yes.
But when you meet someone who's able to give you that peace, you will have no reason to bring up that ugly side.
So and I love the part about leadership, because I feel like maybe this generation, maybe the ladies have not really come to understand. The other day, my boys and I were having an argument, and we're saying the lady today knows that the only leadership that a man should provide is financial leadership,
Yes.
and they don't think there are other aspects to what the role of leadership is when a man comes in.
I think even men think that the only thing they can offer is finances. They think that as long as I have money, everything is set. My friend, you can have all the money. If you don't provide that leadership role, your marriage will come crumbling. So it's a whole cocktail of so many things. But the main thing is the leadership. Provide the right leadership for your family. Anything else will come after that.
What are these other roles, other things that a man should do for the guys or watch for the men that are watching?
Number one, I've always advised the young people, because there are many young people who really admire me. Wherever, if I go to any public setting, they always come and ask me for advice. And I always tell them, don't rush into a relationship. As a man, you must have money. It's very, very important. Especially at that young age.
Have money.
Bro, work hard, whatever it takes, whatever small money that you get, think of ideas that you can do. Because even if you're in a marriage and you don't have money, it will be very, very hard. Very, very hard. Especially right now, money matters, bro. How do you pay rent? How do you take her out? How do you feed the family? There's so many basic needs that have to be met. If you don't have money, trust me, it may not work for you. So my advice for the young men, because I see many, this generation, mostly Generation Z, Generation Z, Gen Z, young people are lost. You know, you go to some of these clubs, they're the ones who are there drinking nini. Unapata mtu akona job anapata 30K, but you want to entertain ladies over and over. You'll have that time. I wish people could be disciplined enough. Everything comes at its own right time. At that age, work hard. Whatever small money you get, reinvest it. Network as much as you can. There are people you can always meet and you can talk with them. These people will advise you because they've lived through all those experiences. Someone will advise you. You'll take something home that might change your life.
Sure.
So once you have money, you have a stable career, go ahead into a relationship. Do not rush into even if you rush a relationship at a young age, na una pesa, bro, it will not even last that long. The lady will understand you, but at some point, if someone else comes with good money, she will go.
Better deal.
She will go.
Are you ever scared of losing mama?
No. Confidence, bro. Let me tell you, there are people who've always wished us. Like now, whatever was happening with Ambara a few days ago, people wish her very many bad things, like karma or whatever, nini, blah, blah, you know. Even me, they're like, oh, one day utawachwa, mtaachana, nini, blah, blah. But I want to tell them, kuachana is not anything that worries me. Even if I wake up the next day, it won't even bother me. Yes, I'll be hurt because I love her. She's the love of my life. But it's not the end of the world. I will move on. She will move on. She'll be happy the way Ambare was Ambare before she met me. I was who I was before I met her. So that's not even my worst fears yet. So it doesn't matter. Things happen for a good reason or a bad reason. If you don't pick anything from it, you pick a lesson from it and you move on. So it doesn't mean that mimi kesho niko na Ambare, now I'll be pathetic. No. I had a life before that. Life must go on.
So you're not even scared about and I love the way you're not even scared about these stories. The other day I saw a story from somebody I don't know, a close friend of ours that leaked some information
Yes.
that Jamal has been financing and even paying rent because for some weird reason Rapudo has not been able to be financially stable. And
Yes.
there's split. There's a split
Of bills or whatever it
of
is.
bills, and I think you saw it as well.
I did. And I never responded. I can't respond to rubbish. I saw that someone wrote that he gives Fade 100K or whatever. It's not even close to the bills in that house. We have 4 children, including Africana. All of them go to British system schools. Do you know how much it costs per term?
How much?
Almost 1 million. Ask anyone who's in a British system. It's an expensive form of education. So what will 100,000 shillings do to me or to us? What will it change? Nothing. Shopping only in that house every month is almost 200,000 shillings every month. Ambare does not even buy salt. Not because she can't afford. No, it's my duty as the man.
Come on.
I'm responsible. It is my duty to pay for those bills. Ambare has professed over and over again. Yeah, is it date mtu mwenye hana pesa? She's allergic to broke men. So why will I be the first broke man that she's keeping? Eh? Why will I be the first broke man that now she wants to keep? Some of these things don't make sense.
In your deepest of moments as a man, kids have slept. And I love Afrikaners. She reminds me of Aislo, and Aislo was a small girl. I always watch your videos because of Afrikaners.
Before I even answer that, see, they've even said that we've been hiring cars, or rather been hiring a car.
Yeah, they say so.
Do you know how much it costs to hire autobiography work per day? 30,000 to 50,000 shillings. I've had that car for how many years?
3 years.
So if I was paying less, give or take, I'm paying 40,000 shillings per day. How much is that in a month?
Oof, that's
someone who
40
pays
times
1.2 million shillings in a month is a broke person.
Then why don't you just buy it?
Your guess is as good as mine. So some of these things is just rumors spread by rumor mills. And I know the person who's spearheading all that spread.
It's somebody you know.
I know him. He's a man.
It's a man?
He's a man. I know him. We both know him. So we don't care.
Does it when everybody's asleep?
Yes.
Because I mean, where you and I come from, the Luya lowland.
Yes.
Most of the time, the man is the last one to sleep because you just want to make sure that the bomber is
okay.
Hey, at times when you're sitting there and you're watching a movie and you just think about life, how far you've come, where you are, and where you intend to go, and what you intend to do for your family.
Yes.
Does this reality of life or these things that come to you, do they at times just catch you and hit your vulnerable part?
Like the things which are said on social media or the expectations?
Things are said, yes. But of course, at times the things that are said.
I think my advice for most people, for people who are in the limelight and the young people who are growing up, whatever it is, celebrities, my advice is for them is to learn to manage expectations.
Manage expectations.
The moment you've perfected that art, anything else is just rubbish. It's just rubbish. I've worked hard to be where I am right now. And I know the future will only get brighter.
Amen.
Last year was one of the, not really hard. Of course, I made some profits, but it was hard in terms of the losses. Remember, there was this new regime that was trying to introduce policies that don't work, high taxes.
And everything, yeah.
It was so hard. So there was a lot of losses that we made. But as long as you learn to manage your expectation and learn to communicate well with your partner, everything works on its own. So whatever I said outside there, they don't. But as long as you've learned how to manage expectations, and you don't have to respond to everything, bro. You don't have to respond to everything. People will always talk about you. And one thing that they must know is that most people, 99% of people who talk badly about you, they are behind you.
They never.
There's no one who's ahead of you who's talking bad about you.
They don't have
no
the time.
One. They're so busy living their lives.
They're already focused ahead.
Yes. They're ahead of you. Why would they look back and talk about you? So the people who talk about you are people who are behind you. As long as you know that, then there must be something good that you're doing. Or there must be something good that you have that they don't have. That's why they'll always talk negatively about you.
I love. For me, I think for me was how to stand firm in the middle of a storm. I think for me that is my takeaway from this.
There's a difference between being smart and being wise. A smart person will just, they'll know what to say. But a wise man will ask themselves, do I really have to say it? You know it. You don't have to say it. You don't owe anybody any explanation.
Live your life.
Live your life. Let them talk. Live your life.
Behind the scenes, it seems everything is very stable.
Yes.
What are those things now? The values and the principles that you're standing by that are helping you to provide that very firm background for your family.
Number one is integrity. Because the position that I am right now, people look. I know it's not just me, both me and my wife and my family, and even our kids. We talk about integrity over and over again. Because where we are, people just wait for us to make mistakes.
Teleza. Edgar yuko hapo.
Edgar kwapo. Oh, umesema, oh, Rapudo. We live with that. And we as long as we are God-fearing, the rest, we leave it to God. If it's something we can't control it. Anything that we can control, we will always control it. What we can't, we leave it.
And that is what you expect your family to stand on.
That's it.
What the things that you're doing now, what is it that you feel like you didn't have it when you're growing up, but you're so keen on making sure that your children and your family have it from you?
I think finances, stability. I just don't want to be called rich. Tajir, no. I want to be called wealthy. There's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. For now, if I'm able to build the generational wealth, that's what will make me happy. If I'm able to open companies and have my children have shares in the companies, whatever it is,
that's okay.
I'm okay. And as long as I can teach my children about the finances, that is one thing that most parents don't teach their children. Most parents will teach their children about God-fearing, being kind, whatever. But we rarely teach our children about finances. You understand?
To balance kingdom wealth with
exactly.
worldly wealth.
It's very, very important to teach them how to manage wealth. That's one thing. It's easy. Doctor is very easy to make even 10 million if you wanted to. But you know what is hard? Keeping that 10 million. A lot of us, if maybe Moza Shamba ungiza 5M, how long do you think that 5M will be in that account? Within 3-4 months, yote imeisha. Dorime, champagnes, nini, all money is gone. The true knowledge is how do you use that money in a way that it can generate more wealth.
What are the sacrifices you had to make for you to get where you are? What are the things you're like, you know what, I am attached to this, but nah.
I think mostly it's about being disciplined. It's not very, very easy to be disciplined. It's easier to say the word discipline, but to practice it,
hard.
It's very, very hard. So I think that's one thing that I've learned, and it's one of the things which have been very, very difficult. Your friends are doing this, you want to go and do it with them. You want to, like you have a conflict of schedule. There are things you want to do, but at the same time, you want to stay disciplined and build something that you're building, whether it's a company or whatever it is.
I hear you.
If most people can master the art of discipline, there's nothing you cannot achieve. Even Bolt. Bolt is not who he is because he has a talent. He put in a lot of hard work. And I even remember sometimes back when he was giving an interview, he said that he had to throw up even 5 times in a day to practice hard. That's what made him who he was. And it's the art of discipline. Whatever you want to do, ask yourself about it. Even if you want to lose weight, if you don't have that discipline, you will never lose it.
As much as you're telling the wrong person that statement.
No. You will never lose it. Anything you do, as long as you have discipline, it is achievable. It is possible to achieve it.
Discipline, dignity.
Yes.
And standing firm in the middle of the storm.
Exactly.
That is the lessons I've taken.
That's the lesson. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate for you.
You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, sir.
And we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Kennedy Rapudo Tajiri, live on Lessons at 30. I don't know what you've gotten from this. Just comment in the comment section there. then keep sharing and spreading the clip as well. And also make sure you subscribe and tell somebody to subscribe as well. And if you're watching, why would you watch a whole 1 hour of this beautiful, amazing conversation and not subscribe? Well, you can always get a notification of the other episode coming up. I hope there's something you've learned. I've told you, for me, I've taken that. Dignity, discipline, and standing firm in the middle of a storm. And clearly it's proven. Clearly Luo men are lovers. From how it's spoken, Ambare is clearly love. So if you're there hoping to be the next, it looks like there's no next. Rapudo is the present and the future and forever and ever. I wish you guys all the best.
Thank you so much.
And you guys know how much, whether we speak or we talk daily or not, you know how much I value you and Mama.
I deeply
and
know
the
that.
respect that I accord to you.
It's all mutual.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Asante.
Thanks for having me.
Get there, of course, Maybets. Get on betting, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're almost getting to the end of the season. Arsenal has is on the final, is on the table, almost on the finals, the quarterfinals. So make sure you put that on your bet, and of course, make sure you get a nice piece of shoe or a shirt, or even a sweater for yourself, or even just a belt or socks, or even just a box or a brief. The contents are right there on Adidas. And if you know you want matters branding, matters corporate training, matters strategy, and matters influence management, you know who to call. 91 degrees, and of course, we will be ready to sort you out. This is Lessons of 30. My name is the Eagle himself, the Duke of Kakamega. See you next time, same place. Only on Dr. Ofweneke TV. Subscribe. Bye-bye, and God bless you so much. To all the ladies, to all the men, you can sort yourselves out. Bye-bye.